So, you want to play your first game of Heroclix. Maybe you've seen it played at your local, maybe you've just heard good buzz around the game. Maybe you want to know who wins in a battle between Superman and the Hulk. This video is going to give you that information to play your first game of Heroclix. So, you want to play a Heroclix game. Small list of things you're going to need. 2d6, a Heroclix map, Heroclix action tokens, Heroclix figures, and lastly a players and abilities reference card. You can print that out. There will be links in the description of this video with all the stuff you'll need and where you can find the relevant information. So, as this is our entry level Heroclix rules, we're going to jump straight into understanding the game a bit. As you can see here with Hydro Man, this is what a Heroclix figure is. This is how the dial looks. In Heroclix there are 5 main combat symbols. There is, as listed, speed, attack, defense, range and damage. So, starting off, speed. On this character he has 7 speed, which means you can move 7 squares, either diagonally, horizontally, vertically, however you choose. We are going to jump down to, this is where the player and abilities reference comes in. So that character has hypersonic. That means he can do this power. If he has red in the speed slot, he can do this power. There's many different powers for each combat ability, so speed, attack, defense and damage. There isn't for range, as range is just how far you can shoot basically. So you've got a character, is there a better, right here, yep. So you have a character stood where Mysterio is in the picture. So you'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Would mean from where he stood, he won't be able to reach anyone. But if he had 7 range, he could. Obviously there is terrain and stuff, but I will get into that shortly. But on a standard, if he was on A8, say Mysterio, and then Spider-Man was on A2, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could range them. So, next to range is lightning bolts. That is how many people you can target with a ranged attack, or up close. So if all 3 of these are on A2, B2, C2, and Mysterio is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can target all 3 of them because all 3 of them are within 6 range, and he has 3 targets. Obviously, this is Spider-Man's dial as it says here, but I'm just explaining how it works with any character. So Mysterio might have 4 range with 2 lightning bolts. That means he can target 2 people at 4 squares away. So the main core thing of Heroclix is the Clix dial system. Here is where we start to get into the combat. So as we said, Mysterio is here and targeting 3 of them all here. So you look at your attack symbol, you roll 2d6, and then you add the 2d6 roll to your attack. On this it'd be 11, so I roll 2 dice, I roll a 7, making 18. You then check on the character you're attacking. So if Spider-Man was attacking, we'll use Spider-Man's as it's right in front of us. He has 18 defense with red. So I roll a 7, add it to 11, that is 18. That means I hit him. Any higher, still hits. 6-6 is a crit hit, which is an extra 1 damage. 1-1 is a crit miss, and you take 1 damage. But, so we've rolled it 18, we've hit him. Defense symbol is red. The attack can also have a colour as well as damage can. So attack symbol is, defense symbol is red. So you go to defense, that is super senses. When this character will be hit, you may roll a d6. 5 to 6, evade. So you roll 1d6, you get 5 to 6, and that attack misses you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it hits you, as that is your own defense power. You can have multiple defense power through specials, but for right now we're going to keep it to the basics of what's on the dial. So next, you've hit them. What happens now? You go to the damage value. Damage value is 3. So you can have, I will jump down again, powers for defense. Say you have orange, toughness, which reduces the damage you take. But on this dial, no toughness, just super senses. You didn't dodge it. Spider-Man's agile, so he can dodge, but he didn't have any reducers. So 3 damage, you click the dial 3 times clockwise, and there will be your stats will change as well as your powers you have will change. They are shown on the dial as seen here to the left. There, so he would take 3 damage here, look. So he is on click 1. You always start on the line that you're playing on. So if you pay 30 points, you start on the green line. Pay 40 points, you start on the red line. So in this scenario, Spider-Man's on his green line, as that is what we see here. Over to the left here is Spider-Man's green start line. You're on this first click. Say he did get attacked and hit for 3. You'd click him 1, 2, 3 clockwise. Your dial will then show these powers. So there is a way to know what they're going to be on after you hit. So your powers change, your stats change. So as you get hit, you can say if you're the Hulk, you might get stronger. A lot of characters, you're probably going to get a bit weaker as you get beat up. Once the first time KO is shown on a dial. So say he took 5 damage from front, he rolls his super senses, you don't get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. KO is shown. Soon as a KO is shown, that character is KO'd and out of the game. You place them on the side off the map. 30 points in this scenario is scored by the person who killed it, so your opponent. So your opponent will be 30 points up. That is the dial. Explained a bit how you roll attacks, how we defend, how do you build a team. In a standard game of Heroclix, the point value is 300, but that is the great thing about Heroclix. You can play with how you like. You can put Superman and Hulk together. You don't have to. You could do Justice League vs Avengers, but long as the points match up. So, say you could play 100 points if you just want to do a quick game with your friend, test the game out. So you could both spend 100 points. Whatever dial you start on is how many points you spend. So this Spider-Man, you could have 2 of this Spider-Man on its green line and 1 on the red, and that would be a total of 100 points. Your opponent then gets 100 points as well. You both build your team, and then you're ready to start your game of Heroclix. So you both roll d6. Obviously you can, as it's just the basics, you can choose a map that you both like, whatever scenario is cool for the battle that you're about to do, or roll for it. So you roll 2d6, whoever rolls highest starts, lowest goes second. Please do ignore the dropped loot markers here. They're not a part of the standard game, that's just a scenario which comes in the Spider-Man set. It's just like a fun little mini game sort of thing you can do, but I'll be showing you the standard game of Heroclix in this video. So you put first player, you choose an edge of the map. So all maps are square. You choose a side, and your characters have to be in that one starting area on the side of the map you choose. Your opponent has to place in the opposite side. So, for example, exactly like this picture here. This is Spider-Man family versus Sinister Syndicate or Sinister Six. Say Spider-Man family starts. You place across that line, the opponent is then on the opposite of the map. So you always start that 16 tiles away from each other. If you have got an older map, the map is bigger, and there is starting areas actually printed on the map in, I think it was pinky purple. So then the game starts. Each character can be given 2 actions. There are powers that can remove tokens, these actions off them. Say, for example, willpower, which is defense power. At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6, 5, 6, remove an action token from this character. Anything that says the beginning of the turn has to be done at the beginning of the turn, or you can't use that power. So you'd roll your willpower if you had a token, but first turn, nobody's got any tokens. So you're Spider-Man. We're going off the same dial here, so you have 7 movement. Hypersonic is more of a complicated power, but with Hypersonic, the basics of it is you move, attack, move, and you only have 7 total movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way next to Shocker, Hydro Man, and Mysterio. There's 3 of them next to you, so you roll your dice, you roll a 5. Add the 5 to 11, that's 16. Mysterio has 18 defense, Shocker has 16, Hydro has 17. You rolled a 16, so you hit Shocker, but can't hit anyone else, as that is how the combat system works. You roll against each person's defense, all in one roll. You only roll 2 dice once for the attack, for each attack. Because Spider-Man has 3 targets, means he can target 3. Because he has hypersonic, he can move full and attack. When you roll against 3 people, say you hit 2 of them, you have 3 damage to deal. You don't deal 3 to every character you hit. You have to separate that damage how you would like. So you hit all 3. You could deal 1 to each, or maybe you want to get one of them down quicker, so there's less characters on their team to attack you. You could deal all 3 to that character. So that is the basics of combat and movement. Obviously, a good thing for Heroclix is knowing what all these powers do. It's great to have the power and abilities reference card next year, as there's a lot of powers. Sometimes even I can forget. And I've been playing probably 15 plus years. So, you will get used to it though. You'll know what each power does as you play more. We have learned the basics of combat, the basics of movement, the basics of a map, as well as how to figure out what power and ability goes to each symbol. So lastly, actions. Each figure can be given 2 costed actions before it has to rest. An action is, say, activating, we'll jump down. There's many different actions you can do. You could do a normal move action, which is just moving. You can do hypersonic, where you move, attack, and then move again, which is a power. That is 1 action. There are also things like sidestep, which is a speed ability. You'll have pink, which will give you 3 move 2 squares. You can activate that once per turn for free. But standard costed power action, you can only activate once a turn per character. So say you're first player, you've got the Spider-Man family. Each 3 of these characters can give given 1 power action in any order you choose. So say Spider-Man can hypersonic, attack, move back, and then you put an action token under Spider-Man as he has been given 1 costed action. Say Spider-Girl has sidestep, which is free, so you can sidestep for free, and then if you can reach them with range, you could then shoot. Obviously not here because the elevated is in the way and you won't be able to see. Line of fire in this game is you draw a line between the 2 squares they're in. If there's anything blocking it, which in this scenario, say Spider-Girl is there, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. The line of fire from there to there is blocked by this elevated, which is up. If it was lower elevation and goes down, you could shoot over it because obviously it wouldn't be in the way. But because it's up, this is scaffolding and stuff which is blocking you from being able to see Spider. With hindering terrain, say Mysterio stood here and Spider-Girl was stood here. She could then target, he'd get +1 defense, but you can still see them in hindering. Red fully blocks if it's in the way, so does blocking. So, each turn, you do Spider-Man's hypersonic as we said. He goes to there and then to there. 1 action. She then sidestep shoots, that's 1 action. And then Spider-Woman can also do 1 action. And then after all 3 of your characters have done their actions and you have nothing else to do left in your turn, you pass turn. It goes to the next person. He can then do as many actions as he would like. 1 per character though. So say you have lower point figures and you have 4 people on your team and they have 3, you have the advantage of more actions. In a standard game of 300, you can only do 3 actions, costed actions per turn though. So, both of you have had your first turns each. You activated 3 characters and gave all 3 power actions, so did the opponent. It then comes back to you after they act. So you have options. You can either rest, which removes all tokens under your character, or, which would be the most common or better thing to do, is act again. Each character can have up to 2 power actions under them, so they can all be given 1 power action each again. and so on. So say your second turn you act with all three, and then you pass to the next player, he acts with all three. It then comes back to you where all your characters have 2 tokens. That means your character cannot act, you have to rest. But obviously if you get willpower off and you remove token, you can then act again. But if you have 2, you need to rest that turn. You can't be given costed actions whilst you have 2 tokens. You can do 3 actions, as long as it is on your turn. So you could sidestep again, say Spider Girl is still here. You have 2 action tokens on all your characters. You can still do a 2 sidestep as it's free. You can use any 3 as long as it is your turn. Once you've rested all your characters, it then goes to them, who will also have to rest if they all have 2 and they don't get any willpower or leadership off. So that is the basics of Heroclix. Get out there, play games, roll high and have fun, and I hope this helped. I will be doing a more advanced one in the future, maybe go over all the powers and abilities as well, but I will see you in the next one.